Hey, welcome to the Arch Media podcast. Uh,
Hi,
hi. Nidhi, could you please introduce yourself and your company?
sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Nidhi Mehta. My company is Self Achievers. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 2.5 decades. It's been
Wow.
25 years. And Self Achievers is dedicated towards helping individuals, and in that, very specifically, students from middle school, students from high school, the young students from colleges, as well as women around the world, to embark on entrepreneurship as their career option and to truly experience the flexibility, the energy, the purpose that this career path brings. So, because I've been an entrepreneur and I started my journey in Silicon Valley, then I did my second, and I sold the company in Silicon Valley. Then I moved to Singapore. I started a company there. And then in India, I just feel very blessed that I've been able to continue starting ventures, building them to success, being able to create value and sell them. And I think, but more than all the numbers and the success part, I think what it has given me in the last 25 years is the ability to create my life's framework
Mhm.
exactly the way I want to,
Okay.
including time for things that are really important to me, including time for family, for my parents, for my own family, including time for friends, my travel, everything that I desire to do to make my life feel very fulfilled. And that's what I'm trying to now impart through Self Achievers, how people can create successful businesses from an idea that is strong and then build a strategy around it, learn to execute it, and then run it successfully and accelerate it.
Yeah, that's a great life story to have. Working over 2.5 decades, and then I love the part where you said that it's also about uh, creating the life you want and not just the business part. I think that's something we can all learn from. So, self achievers, I think it's something about the 21-day blueprint that you have. Could
Yes.
you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, usually what I've seen is um, we are very scared as human
Mm-hmm.
beings to just dive into something where we don't know what the end is going to be, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and entrepreneurship is one of those dives that we have to take, right? You don't know how it's going to turn out,
Mm-hmm.
but if you put all the methodologies, all the processes in place, chances are that you're going to be successful. So what I have is to help, and it is also we have a habit to procrastinate. We'll think, then we are going to tell stories in our own mind as to why we won't be successful, why I'm not ready for it now,
Mm-hmm.
why my business won't take off because I don't have capital. We try to somehow sell to ourselves that we are not worthy of it,
Mm-hmm.
that it's not meant for us. It's only meant for these great people who've made these big companies. We are not one of them. But every individual has the potential to create something unique, to create something big, whether it is in terms of financial value or it is in terms of the value that you're providing to your community and to the people by the product and service that you offer.
Mm-hmm.
So I created this 21-day boot camp, which really engrosses the person, completely immerses them into the process of ideating a venture, then building the venture, the strategy around it, launching it, so that they don't have the time to blink, procrastinate, or tell themselves any stories that would take them away from embarking on that journey. So in these 21 days, there are people, especially a lot of students and women, the target audience that I mostly love to work with, who are clueless. They know they want to do something, they
Mm-hmm.
don't know what they want to do, right?
Okay.
And a lot of the women that I work with, they are homemakers. They've been homemakers forever, or they took career breaks for 15 years to bring up their children, or for whatever the household reasons. And now they're so fearful of going back into the workforce because they feel they've already lost out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a fall of confidence, there's a lack of purpose, and there's this fear that am I too old or is it too late in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I usually address this audience because they're my favorites, because I want them to to understand that there's no limit to us starting something and making something great out of it, right? There's
Yep.
no age limit to entrepreneurship. This
Yes.
is one of those things, there's no retirement age, there's no starting age, there's
Yep.
nothing that's written in the books. So I help them to I work on it's a copyrighted model of mine called an ideation quadrant, which
Okay.
very scientifically helps them brainstorm on an idea that they would be passionate about to carry
Mm.
through, which has skill sets that they have, which they can bring to the table, which is very
Okay.
unique to them, which may be an idea that they're really, really attached to.
Mm.
It could be something in the community that they want to service or whatever it could be. Then, based on that, we come up with two or three ideas that we start to really play with. Validate those ideas. Is there even a need in the market for this
Mm.
product or service, right? And once we start to validate and do that exercise, the three ideas come down to that one idea, which get the individual to take and start to work on it. Now,
Okay.
once that idea comes, I teach them everything. So whatever it takes to make a business successful as a solopreneur. You don't need to have
Mm.
a team, you don't need to have tons of money.
Mm.
The important of building a business blueprint is it becomes that business Bible of yours. That
Mm.
even 5 years later, when you've grown to a large scale, you can go back to it and say, this is what I had thought I would do. This would be my direction, right? So it's that guidebook of yours, which now is the time that you can do it because you've not gotten into the operational mayhem.
Yeah.
It's strategy. And in that, what should be the brand name? What should be the tagline? There's a science behind coming out with a brand name. How do we do that scientifically? I make them go through what are the processes they need to have to do their financial accounting. How do they do their accounts, their invoices? How do they build a brand? How do they get online social media? What is the costing that they need to, helping them with their financial modeling, their revenue modeling, go to market strategy, where are they going to sell this product, who will buy, what's their customer persona, so that they're really clear who they are after and they can do things in a very, very focused manner rather than
Mm.
just shooting darts in the dark.
Yeah.
And once that is done, after the 21, on the 21st day or the 20th day, I make them launch it to make it real. That
Yeah.
means the company is formulated, whether they do it as a sole proprietorship or they do it as an LLP, whatever they want to do. So I also now have resources. I have somebody who helps them with the formulation of the company. I have
Wow. Okay.
somebody who can help them with the legal documents if they require. Though in nascent stages, you won't really need to. I have somebody who helps with the website development if they need that, app development, building the LinkedIn page, whatever is required to get a business off the ground. And once it's off the ground, it's real.
Mm.
It's happening. There's no going back now. There's no
Yeah.
procrastination ki karu nahi karu. Because if I took them only to the educational last stage of
Mm.
giving them the gyan, I can tell you 70% of them would fall off the planet and would never pursue
Yeah.
it. But if I make them launch, I would say 90% of them will continue it, maybe 10% would still follow.
Yeah.
But so far, I've had a 100% success rate of anybody
Okay.
who's done the program and continues to be an entrepreneur and build their venture and accelerate it. And they come back for the acceleration program.
Mm.
But the whole idea is that once I have taken you to the edge and I've given you the push, you're going to fly.
Yeah.
And how high you soar will depend upon how focused you are, how much you want to gain in terms of your flight, and how far you want to go.
Yeah.
I'm just a tool to take you there.
It's really about the fear there, and you just compressing all the work that they need to do, making it like an intensive 21 day. I think it gets people to launch, and
Yes.
a lot of people will just keep reading and learning about it for 6 months, 12 months, if if they don't have something like this.
Yeah, Ridit, there's so much information out there now because we
Yeah.
are in the digital age and there's free information. And I think it's become too much of an overload of information that makes us all the more confused and inhibited.
Right.
So I personally believe that the only way to get somewhere is action.
Yeah.
And I know that if I leave it on them, they will not act on it. So I hold their hand and I make sure I make them finish the marathon, get to the end line, so that now they have the confidence that they can keep running marathons again and again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like how you have all the pieces arranged. So anyone who needs legal and website and LinkedIn, like they have access to that, so they can just really focus on
Yeah.
starting. I like that. And on that point, the last thing that you were saying, what trends have you seen in this? So are more women wanting to get into this? Are more students wanting to get into this?
So yes, see, right now, at least in India and world over, entrepreneurship suddenly has become the fad.
Yeah.
You know, it's the buzzword.
Mm,
Everyone wants to have their own startup, their own venture. And it is something like this I have experienced when I was in 99, 2000, when I had just finished B school. And e-commerce had just started out, you know.
yeah.
And at that time, this entire dot-com buzz had started and
Mm,
everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. And then somewhere in the 20 years, other things took over entrepreneurship because of obviously the risk and a lot of failures that we heard of somewhere got you know I would say behind the line. Suddenly it's come forward again with more
mm,
power, with more awareness, more
mm,
education. And for me, I believe again, so if I look at the industry trends, every university now is offering a course in entrepreneurship.
yeah.
Okay, I don't know exactly what they teach, what kids learn in it.
Mhm,
I tell them this, that an entrepreneur doesn't need to have an entrepreneurship degree.
yeah.
They just need to have the basic understanding of accounts, finance, revenue, sales, because ultimately it's a great idea. You have to have focus and dedication to drive it, and you have to have a really good marketing strategy.
Mm,
Ultimately, that's what is going to get you the moolah, the money to
mm,
survive and to
mm,
move forward. Then you get the great people in your team who can do your accounts, who can do your technology. Initially, you outsource everything, right?
yeah.
Or you do it yourself. So all of these, because now children want to study it and hope that they're going to become an entrepreneur. I also see that by the government, there's a lot of push. So there are incubators across India. I personally am associated with 26 incubators in India where I am a mentor. I do a lot of learning sessions on business topics, for their cohorts. And so a lot of people are doing it. What I feel still lacks greatly, right? Having been through this journey myself for 25 years and in every country is, I think what lacks is being their understanding that entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily mean investment, getting
Mm,
venture funds. That's
yeah, I
not
agree.
success. Entrepreneurship is a business, right? You got to have, if you have a 30% profit margin, you're making more than what you've invested,
Mm,
you're good. And
yeah.
you just grow. It doesn't really mean you got to be the next Flipkart or an
Mm-hmm.
Amazon. You could be someone small, you could just sustain that, grow it organically, and build and sustain for long term, right? So your product has to be something that you're passionate about or service. It's not something that's trendy, that just because right now everyone's talking about AI, so I want to start the next AI startup. Right?
Yeah.
That's when I don't even understand your technology, right? If you ask me to do anything in tech or AI, it's not my fault. It's not something that gives me joy. I can learn it, I can do it
Mm,
really well, but I don't get excited doing it,
mm,
right? So I have to do something that excites me if I want to stay in the game for a long time.
yeah.
Because entrepreneurship is hard. It's not easy. It's a very lonely road. It takes a long time before you start to see the money come in. You
Mm,
have to have a lot of conviction. You have to have passion. You have to have drive. We don't take Sundays off. We work 24/7. The
yeah.
mind works 24/7. And even when you've gotten there, when you've become a Flipkart, you still don't think you can rest because now you're like, how do I get better than this? How do
Mm,
I make sure that there's nobody else who beats me in competition? So you just that's the beauty, or I would say the drawback of or challenge of having a business, but that's what keeps us alive and on toes. That's the beauty of it.
yeah.
Students nowadays are looking for that quick money.
Mm,
I want to make a company, I want to get investors.
yeah.
How do you get an investor when you've not even shown me or proven to me that you are making profit or money in your company? I'm not going to
Mm,
put money. So there's a lot of, I think, uh, myth or this false sense of what entrepreneurship is. So
yeah.
I think that needs to change by the universities, by the government, in the incubators, where we need to tell them if you need to take investment, yes, there is a way. But if you can do without an investment, then do it without it.
Yeah.
Prove that you have profitability, and then people themselves will be interested to put money in you, right?
Yeah.
Then you scale with that money. In terms of entrepreneurship as an industry, or as it is, right, as a career path. See, I'm a very strong believer that this is an equalizer. This is the
Mm.
only way we can bring equality in our society. Because entrepreneurship is one career path that doesn't judge you high or low based on your grades,
Yeah.
based on which college you went to, whether you can speak English or not, or how cool you are, which city you were brought up in, whether you
Or
were born in a
how,
privileged family or
yeah,
a, a financial.
like how old are you, all that stuff.
Exactly,
Yeah.
any age, anything, right? Nothing, bars, nothing. It's just a plain field for every single human being. And
Yes.
we're all at the start line together. Nobody has a handicap. And anybody can do it. All they need is a great idea, a drive to make their idea successful, passion to do it, and having a very straight business acumen.
Mm.
If you know debit credit, you will make money if you have that great idea.
Yeah.
So I feel that that's one way to bring our country out of poverty,
Yeah.
by giving chances, by creating. Second thing great about this is we are creating self-employment. So there are not many people who are getting disillusioned because they didn't get a job,
Mm.
because they don't speak good English, because they don't come from a very fancy university that somebody's heard of. Because now I would say the lower income class that's trying to move up, right? Which I'm talking about, like say domestic help or daily wage workers, they all are aspiring to send their children to schools. And the
Mm.
kids are going to schools, which is a great thing. And then they go to colleges. But the problem is the parents don't have the awareness. So
Mm.
while they're spending money, they may not be spending money in the best way possible,
Yeah.
right? So that college has taken the fees, the student has taken the education, but the college is unable to provide a job for them.
Mm.
Now, the students are educated. They don't want to go back to washing dishes or
Yeah.
carrying bricks. So now they are in a worse position as their parents because they have no source of livelihood. They cannot go and do that menial, what they call a menial work. They
Mm.
feel I'm educated, so I should be in an office. The office doesn't have placement for them.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? They're going to just sit at home disillusioned and then get into wrong fields of work, right?
Yeah.
So if we promote entrepreneurship, now they have the education. They
Mm.
understand little bit more than their parents do, and they can start small businesses, kirana
Mm.
shops, stores, whatever it is, and build. Entrepreneurship is not just a dot com.
Yeah.
It can be anything. And that's
And they
where I
build
feel,
their own skills as well, which
yes,
college might
they're
not
using
give them.
skills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And they can then use that either in the business, or if even if the business fails or something, they can always use those skills to get a job.
yeah. And I think they're such a sweet position because people like me who've been born and brought up, say, in a big city, cannot think of going and living in a village. I don't understand the rural problems. These kids have gone there to meet their family, or they are from a rural village. And right now the opportunities are in those villages.
Mm.
They know I've studied. I've seen this in the city that these are these kind of stores. Can I bring this to my village and
Yeah.
become that first mover advantage here, and then learn and do something really big? There are a lot of opportunities for them. Talk about farming, talk about, I don't know, poultry culture, talk about anything, even a kirana store, opening parlors, opening garment store, anything you want to, there's an opportunity for anything now, right now.
Yeah.
So I think that is for me, that's one of the biggest reasons why I moved into entrepreneurship coaching and development, because I feel that's my service to the world. If I can help, my goal is like as many people, of course, 1 million people move into entrepreneurship,
Mm.
find their livelihoods there successfully, right? I'm not saying become like the next Flipkarts, maybe they would, but even find reasonable livelihoods. I think I have contributed to
Yeah.
the society, to my nation building, and to an individual success and the success of the future generations.
Right. And I like that goal. It's like bringing more people into entrepreneurship, like, did you say a million people?
Yes.
That's a great goal. So that's obviously a long-term goal. Is there any, let's say, 6 to 12 month goals that you're looking at for your own
Oh,
company?
yeah, of course. So one of my goals is, so I do a lot of work with women, like I told you. I'm very passionate about bringing homemakers into entrepreneurship because
Mm,
I think they do so much service for their families, but they're not really counted for or appreciated for because household work doesn't have a remuneration. So sometimes you lose their lack of purpose, their self worth, their confidence, their ability to contribute to decision making because they think, I have done nothing in life. And I want to move this, I've done nothing in life, or I'm good for nothing, or they're saying to themselves that, I'm worthless, into I can do it all.
okay.
So while they're great now at doing their house, I really want them to pick out their skills or pick out any dreams that they have and help them create that into businesses. So for that, I am now creating a three-prong program so that it takes it
Okay.
through a 1 month, 1 year journey, which is one, their self-transformation. So it's a
Okay.
very powerful program that's run by Impossible Transformations, and I'm one of their sorcerers, trainers. And I'm picking out the piece to really run it for women, to bring any woman on the, together and make them realize that they're unstoppable beings.
Mm,
They are limitless in their potential to believe in themselves. And from there, help them start that ideation journey, build that entire 21-day boot camp work, launch their businesses, whether from home with whatever limitations they may have. I can't get out of the house, I've got small kids. Doesn't matter. The beauty of my program is whatever limitations you may have, based on that limitation, I help you create your business
and
so
is
that
this
you can
part
still
of
thrive in
self-achievement?
it. Yes, everything is part of self achievers. And
Okay.
then to launch the business and then to go into an advanced program where how do you become a great leader?
Okay.
Because from that small single startup, you're going to start hiring people. You're
Mm,
going to start building a business. You're going to become more of than a person who's bringing this entire piece together, right? So
yes.
you have to be a great leader, a visionary leader to build a good company and then
Mm,
build the leadership quality. So it'll be like an entire 1 year program. And I
okay.
want to get more and more women involved in this. I want to get a lot of government support to get whether do it in rural areas, do it in urban areas, but do it for women who currently are not employed.
Mm, that's a good goal. So one thing that I would really like to point out that you said earlier is that revenue and sales and accounts and all that stuff is important, but marketing is really important because that's what gets the money in. So a lot of education companies, and they will be listening to this. What is your go-to-market strategy, or what have you tried that's worked for you that others can also learn from?
So, I think the reason for my whatever you call, let's put it like this, entrepreneurial success, right, where you've created value from zero and then somebody's bought that company because they saw value in it. I would contribute it entirely to my ability to market and sell. So my mother always says this, that I'm so good in sales that I can sell a hair clip to a bald man, right? That I love to sell because selling requires the art of connecting with people.
Mm,
It's human connection. It's uh, really bringing forth the value of the product or service to another human being, showing them the passion why you believe in this product, and then enrolling them to really subscribe to that product and buy it, right? So I've done both product companies and service companies. But one
okay.
thing that's been consistent in both my companies is I've always built relationships, whether with
Okay.
my vendors, whether with my customers, whether with my employees. So the employee that I hired on day one continues to be my employee till date. They've not left because I've nurtured them.
Mm,
I've given them a lot of space to self grow, not just grow for the company. And in this self growth is also the company's growth. So, invested in their learning, invested in their dreams, what they want, and invested in also. There are certain challenges they have. I can't work till late. It's okay. Then I have to be
Mm,
mindful of that and make sure that I take care of these things. So, sales and for me, the go to marketing strategy is very simple because I think it flows in my DNA. It flows in my blood. Without thinking, I'm able to think how I'm going to be able to acquire this customer. And I do it with a very genuine, authentic heart. I don't try to, because I've never done work which I don't believe in.
mm,
I only do work which I truly believe in, I think I'm really good at, and I have a mastery over it. Only then can I sell it. I can't sell something that I don't want to
mm.
use myself.
I agree.
Both my children have gone through the Self Achievers Boot Camp, and
Okay.
both my children are entrepreneurs. One of them won the national, both of them actually won the National Youth Leadership Award. One of them is studying now with a full scholarship at the University of Michigan doing engineering. And the other one is, set to leave this year. So what I truly believe is that if I can eat the food that I'm making,
Mm-hmm.
then when I serve it to others, they will enjoy it too.
Yeah.
And I don't want to sell anything just because it's going to give me money, because it's
Mm,
profitable. I think been there, done that. Now it's about impact and value. And I think selling today is not where you call up somebody and say, oh, I have this product, buy it, I'm going to give it you 10 rupees cheap. No. People will only buy from you because they see value
yeah.
and because they feel connected to you.
Mm,
Right? Somehow, whether it's content creation, people will only listen to your podcast because they are able to connect with you. Because there are zillions of podcasts out there,
mm,
right? They will only come to my boot camp because they know that I'm invested in their success. It has nothing to do with me. Half the time I don't even put all these stories on social media because I'm just so much into my working, I don't have time to
mm,
sit and do. So, there's only so much you can do.
mm,
I love working with people, seeing them successful. That gives me joy and fulfillment.
yeah.
And when they see that, they automatically come, then they refer. And my entire sales now, or the work that I've gotten, has really come down to referrals.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I agree with the relationship building part too. Even like you said, the first employee I hired for the Archie Media many years ago, he's still working here. I think all of them are still working. Yeah. So I agree with that, and I agree with the relationship building part across everything with clients, with vendors, and yeah. And you said another thing which I found interesting. All the people who come to you now are from referrals. Okay? And that I mean that is amazing because it shows how good the product is. But is it also something that you want to keep it like that, or is it something that it has just become that way now?
See, okay, so I'm wrong in saying all of them. I would say like a good chunk is reference, right?
Okay.
People have experience, they love it. They, tell somebody else or somebody's kid is looking, to do something and they'll put my name out there. Uh, there are a lot of people who see through the website, or like I come in a lot of podcasts, I come on in a lot of interviews. So when people hear, they feel, oh wow, she does this. I've been yearning to start something of my own, but I don't know what to. So she is the person I should go to. And they connect with me and we have a conversation. When there are articles of mine that come out in the newspaper, I remember Dainik Bhaskar did a feature on my work with Self Achievers for Women. And I had 100 calls in one single day, and they came from places I honestly didn't even know the name, you know, pan India, right? Like from villages, from very remote places. And that was fascinating because I found that women are reading. And there are so many women who are stuck. They want to do something, they just don't know how to and what to. Some of them don't even have a limitation of capital. They have the capital, but they don't know what to do, how to do it. They need somebody who
Mm,
can just push them, who can take them. And for them, it's a lot easier to trust a woman and
mm,
work with me versus a man because one, they feel that being a woman, I probably understand a lot of things when they say that, oh, but I can't work beyond 5 because I have to cook food. Oh, I don't want to go on this because my children are small, they come at 2. How do I manage? I understand that. I've gone through it myself. So that's why I say that entrepreneurship is such a beautiful
Mm.
career path because it allows us to design our life framework the way we want.
Yeah.
Flexibly, I can choose to work at 5 in the morning to 10 and
Mm.
then not work from 10 to 2 till my kids are home and then work, again work at 2 to 5. Nobody stops. I can work from home, I can go outside, I can do meetings, I can sit in a Starbucks. So options are plenty. It's how you want to create that journey for yourself, right? And so yeah,
Yeah. That's fascinating. So, uh, a lot of one thing which you said was that a lot of people are coming from pan India, just listening to podcasts. Uh, is you not having time to put content out the reason you're not doing it right now, or
yeah. So I'm lazy. I think I've done so much of it. So right now, I really enjoy doing things like where it's action oriented, right? Where I am, say, guiding or running the training program or doing the learning lessons, right? The learning sessions and stuff. Social media is a very different ball game. It
mm,
requires somebody who is very good at editing. You need to have that team. They need to have. I'm not good at it.
mm,
Honestly, I'm not good at Instagram. I'm not good at editing reels or this and that and the other. And I feel the amount of energy it takes from me to do it, I could do so much more work,
yeah,
which is easier for me to do in that time, right? Which also means, yes, I've been lazy. I've not hired a team because I feel, oh, if I hire them, then I have to really have work. I have to put a lot of time into thinking what I want them to do,
mm,
execute it, get the right people. And in the last 4 years, honestly, I've been more very focused on running solo and doing what I love doing and bringing to the table. Because
right,
the moment I have a team, I have to bring them to my level,
mm,
which requires a lot of energy to be put in to train them, which is not a bad thing. I've run a lot of teams, built them, but I think it takes uh, a lot of my time. And
mm,
right now, I would rather just be doing what I'm doing. The work is
mm,
coming, so I'm not complaining. I think when the work is maybe less, then maybe I look at these because I know social media is a very important
yeah,
way to get more traction, to let more people know that you're doing. I also need to get a team, and maybe I would, this year, next year, to start doing that work for me. Because I run, there are two, three businesses that I run in parallel. Self Achievers is the main, that's my educational business. Then I also have a very passion driven business of mine, which I run. So, between these, I think there'll be enough work, but I have to put my mind to it.
yeah, yeah. Um, I mean, yeah, the thing, like having one article getting hundreds of calls. I mean, that multiplied with the power of social media, that would
Yeah.
really good. Yeah,
I know. I have to have the bandwidth to even take that work on. Sometimes maybe that puts me down. And also, honestly, it's not that because this is what I teach to a lot of my students. Social media is the single most force and asset that we have today to be able to build a business without having any money or without having a team. You can just do it.
yeah,
Internet is a field. I just haven't capitalized it and put that to work for myself. But I'm happy because I'm more in a slow impact oriented mode rather
mm,
than the money making.
yeah.
It's reversed after 25 years.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like for beginners, especially like something that is free and it's the only form of advertising that will compound.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In fact, like besides the podcast, our company, we work with other education companies worldwide, and a lot of like the CEOs, founders, they're just now realizing that they need to put out the thought leadership on social media, and
Absolutely.
it's kind of the trend right now everywhere. So that's currently. So is there anything that you'd like to share that you've tried recently that has not worked, that other education companies can look at and learn?
Wow. Try some that they can look at as.
as something that you tried and it didn't work, which they can learn from, because we learn a lot more
Oh,
from
yeah,
failure.
okay, I get it now. Thank you. Something that I tried and it didn't work out. No, I have a bad memory. I forget things that don't work out because then I start to work on plan B. But for me, what, like I told you, like this whole trying to, I've been wanting, okay, so that's one thing that has been there. I won't say it hasn't worked out. Maybe I haven't put all of my
Hmm.
energies into it. I really do desire to put out content, to
Okay.
become a content creator, because I feel that my voice, especially for the audience that I want to inspire, which is women sitting at home, women who've taken a break in their career, or kids, middle school, high school
Hmm.
kids. I want to get to them, to inspire them to get over the fear, or to make creating something of their own a priority.
Hmm.
Okay, many of us just live our lives based on what others want us to live,
Hmm.
what others want us to do. We are living a life that others are writing as a script for us. I want them to totally shift and start writing the script by themselves. And they
Hmm.
may fail in that script. They may have challenges, they will learn a lot, but I know that they will grow as human beings. They will grow as professionals, and they will become stronger, and they'll become better, and they will find success, right? I want kids to learn it at an early age because that will keep them away from the evil or the bad side of social media binging,
Hmm.
gaming, because that takes away your free time when you have something very purposeful which you're doing, which gets you excited, where you're making money. Like my daughter, she has a baking company. She runs a cloud kitchen from home.
Yeah.
Now, even during exams, if she gets a baking order, she manages her time such ki, okay, I will do the dough, I'll put it in the baking. Now I go back to study. Okay, after 45 minutes, I have to take it out because she's getting money for it.
Yeah.
She gets excited. They're earning. So you see how beautifully they're learning the life skill of time management.
Hmm.
Because in life, when you go to workforce, you don't just work. You have to start juggling now. After once you leave school, the balls don't drop. They only get added. And you have to learn to become a good juggler if you want to
Hmm.
be successful. So you will be required to give time when your parents call. Your friends will want you. Your boss wants you to do extra work. You want to do some extra work, learning to do up your skill. You want to go for your karate class or your yoga class or your dance class. You want to go for a run. How do you manage all of that?
Yeah.
This
Especially for.
time management is a skill. If you learn it in school through
Hmm.
entrepreneurship, you've learned a skill for your life. You will never find a challenge.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to really bring forth to them, that, I can help them ideate. And from middle school, if they do something really good, imagine what an amazing impact they're making in this world. And imagine how ready they are now when they want to do something larger in terms of
Hmm.
an idea and bring into this world. More confidence, more awareness, more exposure, and more process
Yeah.
that they've already learned at a young age. And at a young age, you pick up a lot faster. You learn teamwork so quickly. You learn to be okay with failures, with things that didn't work out, the outcome that didn't come out as you had envisioned. Let's not use the word failure, but the outcome didn't come out. So
Hmm.
you learn to accept it and rework with it.
Yeah.
Which what it does for you in your later years is it takes you away from disappointments and disillusionments because you accept that as a way of life. It happens. And
Hmm.
now, how do I do something from this?
Yeah.
How do I move forward? And that moving forward, so I feel entrepreneurship, development, or education is a beautiful journey that teaches you so many things in life. It can never be a waste of time. It can only give you something which is a surplus. It can give you a purpose for your life. It can give you, of course, money, employment, all of that is there, but mostly a purpose for life, which I think we all ought to have to live a very fulfilled life.
Hmm. Yeah. And I agree. Like, especially the time management part, with all the women that you work with. that is essential for them. And this the students part I relate because I started my first business when I was 12. So I've been doing it since I was 12. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, all the things that you said, I actually have lived that myself as well. And it's been
So
super
see,
helpful.
and now you're so successful and you're doing what you love to do, and
Yeah,
you're at least enjoying your life doing what
yeah,
you.
yeah. No, I agree. And it's also a great thing that when students take part into stuff like this, parents over time also need to adapt with that, because not all parents do agree with all that stuff. I think even you are very passionate about this, and I think if you put out content, it won't just affect the students, it would also be something that their parents can watch, and it would change their mindset as well. And I
Yeah, so I just need to get a good team that can do all the editing while I do the speaking part.
yeah,
So yeah, let's hope, let's intend that I'm going to find a really good team that is going to put the content in the way it should be presented. While I can create it, I need people who can dress it.
yeah. uh, and to that point, right now, what is your day to day like, and what is the thing that you're most focused on?
What is my day today? I have a beautiful life. I'm very grateful for. I do everything that I want to do in a day. So my day starts with I do a lot of affirmation, gratitude, a lot of those intentions that I do. Like that's part of my meditation or my thing. I go for my morning walks. So my time to myself, as I call like my silent time is in the mornings. Of course, my kids are grown up, right? I told you one
Hmm,
is in college, one is in 12th grade about to go. So I'm not as operationally involved in the kids' life. That gives me a lot of free time in the morning. Fortunately, I have a very good household ecosystem, so I don't really need to be doing a lot of the chores.
hmm.
I twice a week, so I'm a dancer,
Okay.
and one of my first entrepreneurial things was health and fitness line. So I still continue to teach dance fitness. And that's like my oxygen, that's like my meditation. That's something I absolutely love, and that re energizes, rejuvenates me, makes me very, very joyful. That gives me a lot of also ideas and energy to do other things that I'm doing. So I continue to teach dance on Tuesdays and Thursdays, twice a week. And then I do a lot of online one to one classes with my
Oh,
global clients, in the US and anywhere in the world. So I love that because I get to also connect with a lot of people. Through the day, what I do is I get onto my platform or my office space 10 o'clock. Between 10 to 1:30, I don't touch my phone. I don't check my phone. I have a to-do list of what I want to accomplish today, and I only focus on that. And this is
hmm,
why I feel that I'm able to do a lot in less time because I'm not distracted by phone. So
yeah,
my parents know, my friends know that if my phone is on silent, I'm working and I will return the call once I take a lunch break.
hmm,
1:30 is when I stop. That's when I go to pick up my daughter. I come home, I make sure I'm with her for lunch. I spend that time with her to 33. I don't take any work till 3,
okay,
usually 2:33. 3 o'clock is when I start working again. 3 to 5 is usually when I'm giving my time. 3 to 5:30 max. That's a hard stop. 5:30 done, right? And then I'm just slowing myself down to get ready because I do yoga 6 to 7 every day. I have
okay,
an instructor who comes, who guides me. So that's like my very sacred space to kind of just center myself again for the evening. Seven, and after that, I don't. So 7 o'clock, I go. Then I love to cook dinners. I love to cook for my family. I only cook the dinners. So I like to be in the kitchen. Then we eat early. If we are watching, I'm not a TV watcher. I don't
hmm,
like watching TV. I don't like watching movies. I may read a book, may talk to friends. But yeah, the binge watching is not my scene, right? So that and then good sleep. That's it, And usually on weekends, socializing with friends, both me and my husband. So we do a lot of socializing, meeting friends. So every part of my life that means anything to me, whether it's spending time with family, whether it's my time, whether it's with yoga, dance,
mm,
exercise, walking, my time with my dog, playing with him or taking him for a walk, being with my parents, visiting them, my husband's parents live with us. But all that together fulfills me as a person. I can't
mm,
drop any of it.
mm.
And that is why I feel that whole cycle where I tell you entrepreneurship empowers you to create a life that you desire.
Yeah.
Because now I choose to fit in my work hours the way I think I would like it to.
Mm,
Nobody tells me I have to come at 8 and go back at 9 and then me be miserable, eating frozen food and, saying I don't exercise and oh my God, like I have no life. I don't want that.
mm.
And I'm okay with even earning less money than maybe what I would have may have earned working 24 hours in a corporate. I love this.
It's a very well intentioned, like intentionally
Yeah.
created. Yeah, that's good. I like how clear it was. Like usually if I ask a question like this, people are very confused. They're like, yeah, I wake up, then I work, then I think that's it. And it's very confused. And I like how well defined it was. So yeah, I mean, is there anything on the business side that you're focused on right now?
See, my biggest focus is right now to get more traction, uh, especially on the women front.
Okay.
So far, I'll be very honest with you, my last 4 years, I'm a very hands-on mom,
Mm,
and I always had this at the back foot. I want to pace my work. I don't want to do too much where I'm forever out of the house and my kids are, I have 4 more years before they leave the nest. So I may as well put that time onto them and create it. But now with both of them leaving this year, I feel that I will have so much time that now I can really go full throttle
mm,
onto running bigger, larger programs rather than just doing one-on-ones. Uh, into getting more women to one, get inspired, have the desire to want to do something in their life, and then take them through the program so that they have a lot of clarity or vision as to what they want to do,
mm.
and then help them execute. So that's pretty much what I want to focus this year for my business. More women
Okay. Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
And so that's bringing in more women, and also the other thing that you said, doing that 1 year three
Yes,
pronged thing.
yes, yes.
Yeah, that's right. So, uh, are you planning on doing something specifically to get that traction?
Yeah, I know one thing that I have in mind is I want to create proposals so I can push it with the state government, see
Okay.
if I can get a buy-in, because ultimately it's about getting the women uplifted, right?
Mm,
And like I said, it could be women from low-income backgrounds, it could be women like me or anybody, right, from urban areas who are not yet doing something in terms of monetary, work.
yeah.
So to get that, so if I get a buy from the government, because I know how to drive the program, I
Mm,
just don't want to spend my energy collecting people. That takes a lot of energy. So
yeah.
if somebody is doing that, then I know what I can deliver and
Mm,
what we can do together. So I think
mm,
I'm going to try and get buy-ins from organizations, larger organizations, whether it's CII or Vicky Flow, whatever, who can actually use this as a platform to get their women to get trained, their members, or on a larger scale, the government, central, state government. So that's one way I plan to execute it in a bigger way. Otherwise, it's going to be very small strides, which is going to impact a few women, but not the 1 million that I really dream to impact.
mm, yeah. So it's the government buy-in mainly, but you said the state, Rajasthan government,
The
right?
state. So see
Mm,
again, whether it's a state government, whether it's central government who wants to
okay.
start executing this program on a larger scale, right? Whether it is organizations. So like you have CII chapters, you have
Hmm.
FLO, you have so many industrial organizations. To just get them to do a buy-in, they have members. They already know how to get to force the, uh, I would say the administrative part if it's taken care of by them. The execution part, I know I can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the marriage I want to create.
Hmm.
So it's a win-win for all, and a lot more people benefit from it.
Yeah. And have you been reaching out to them already, or is it
Not
like?
yet, honestly, not yet, because I know that right now, in timing, I'm not prepared. I have my daughter's board exam starting, and they'll end in March. So April
Hmm.
is when I'm really going to go full throttle with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Nidhi, thank you for coming on the podcast. It's been really good talking to you. I think everyone listening has learned a lot. And the thing I liked a lot was the focus on the impact and actually caring so much about the relationships with the people and also the results that you can get to them. I like that a lot because even for me, I've seen so many people in my space too that they care about is how can we get more and more and more money, which is fine, but it's never about how can we deliver better results or better like relationships with the people that we're working with. And so I think if if entrepreneurs focus more on that, they'll get. I think they can just make way more money uh, if they were focused on the right things rather than just trying to chase that number.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I agree
Yes.
with that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.